Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to Book Talk Day 7. We are officially a full week into discussing and reading and learning about Ivan and his friends Stella and Bob. And I think we're going to meet somebody new today. Or we had already met somebody new. But I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hadn't gotten to it yet. So let's go ahead and dig into our notes for today. We are ready to rock and roll. We have our organization skills. That's super, super important to us. We have our title, The One and Only Ivan, with our underline to know that it's the title of a book. We've got chapters 33 to 41. That's amazing how far we've come. It's day 7, and the date is April 29th, 2020. So go ahead and pause if you need to get that done. And I'm going to continue. So we are going to continue talking about figurative language. We're going to look for those similarities using like or as, the similes, or the metaphors where it's the direct comparison where it just completely says, okay, these two things are alike, not using like or as. We talked a little bit about them in book talk yesterday because I knew they were something brand new. So I kind of let Monday go with that, and we really dug into it on Tuesday. And when we're ready, we're going to do a review skill as well. So we are going to talk about cause and effect. So cause, why something happened. Okay, so why did it happen? What was the cause? What happened? I used the word, sorry. What happened to make a certain situation go away? And then the effect. What was the result? So we've talked a lot about cause and effect this year. And we used to say, well, okay, so a cause, if someone went outside without a coat, the effect would be that they get sick. And we'll say, well, let's kind of relate it to times right now. If someone does not wash their hands every single day, every so often, what's going to happen? Well, the effect is they also might get sick. And they'll just be dirty and need a shower. How about if someone, the cause is you go ice skating for the first time. You've never ice skated before. I know I've got a couple of hockey players and people who like to ice skate in our class. So what happens when you go ice skating for the first time? Well, the effect might be you will fall a lot and you have to work on your balance. So there's so many different scenarios. So we are kind of digging into what's happening in our story, what's causing characters to feel a certain way, and then what's the effect? What's going to happen from there? Why is this happening? How is it making everybody feel? So let me give you the notes. Go ahead and write them down. Pause here if you need to. And I'm going to continue. We've got our vocab, 4 new vocab words this week. Some really, really cool words. And I just wanted to say about our vocab is all of these vocab words have simpler meanings and have similar words that are easier for you to use and maybe words that you use in your daily life. But what's amazing about these is you can take those words that you already use all the time and sound smarter, and it's so cool, and it's so important to have a wide open variety of words to use in your vocabulary. I mean, it is just, it's important. And it's, you know how I always get on you guys about digging deeper in your sentences and making them sound more detailed and adding in stuff. Use these words. They will help you. That's why we learn new words, so we can make our sentences more detailed. So we've got chapters 33 to 41 vocab. Make sure you write that down as a title. Our first word is coax. C-O-A-X is coax. And when you are coaxing someone, you are trying to persuade them. So we've talked about persuasion a little bit with author's purpose. And when you're trying to persuade someone, you're trying to get them to do something. You want them to do something that you want. And I like to persuade people to work out because I think it's really important for our body. And I try to persuade you guys to read because it's so important for your brains. And when you coax somebody, you persuade them. You get them to do something. So I might coax you guys in to learning to love to read by giving you a book like Ivan, so then you start to like it, and then we add on, we get another book, and another book, and another book, and it's really, I'm coaxing you into it. Next word is entwined. When something's entwined, it's twisted together. So if you've ever seen something crocheted or knitted where the string kind of looks like a bunch of knots and it comes together and it's entwined, they're twisted together, that's that. And some of you might make bracelets. You know, you make those rainbow lube bracelets, excuse me, and you kind of knot them together and finagle your way into making all that good stuff. It's really good. Next word is indifferent. And when someone is indifferent, they are uninterested. So I might feel like maybe some of you are indifferent about this book and don't enjoy it. Or you're indifferent about your math, or you're indifferent about how some of your friends are acting in school. You're not interested in how they're treating people or how they act. So you do your own thing, and that's really, really important. And then our last word is nimbly. Ooh, so cool. It's such a different word. And nimbly is just another word for quickly and with grace and skill. And when something's done with grace and skill, it's like perfectly. It's very smooth. It's just like when I think of grace and skill, I think of a ballerina. And I think of them doing all these quick, crazy moves that I could never do. I am not graceful by any means, but it's a skill. And they're doing it quick and with this calmness and this movement. So that is nimbly. All right. So we've gotten our comprehension skills down. We've gotten our vocab written down. Now it's time for a quick write. So if you have your note sheet nearby or you're writing in your notebook, let's talk today about our quick write. Remember, this is what you're going to turn in on your Wednesday flip grid. It's a different link from Monday. Make sure you separate them. And your quick write is describe what you think it would like to be an elephant. Ooh, I like this. What do you think it would be like to be an elephant? Then describe what you think it would be like to be an elephant that performs in a circus. Okay, so that's two really big, deep topics. Sorry, I'm moving this. You have more light on my face. Two different topics completely. What is it like to be an elephant in the wild, maybe? And what is it like to be an elephant in the circus? What are the similarities and what are the differences? I can't wait to hear yours. I'm going to not talk today because I want you to do this on your own and I want to hear your exact feelings. That's so cool and so impressive. So go ahead and work on that. Pause me, and when you're ready, we're coming back and we're reading together. So go ahead. Okay. We are starting today on page 68, and the chapter is called Arrival. Ooh, I wonder who has arrived if you read and already know. Okay. Arrival. The new neighbor arrives after the 4 o'clock show. When the truck comes lumbering toward the parking lot, Bob scampers over to inform us. Bob always knows what's happening. He's a useful friend to have, especially when you can't leave your domain. With a groan, Mac lifts the sliding metal door near the food court, the place where deliveries are made. A big white truck is backing up to the door, belching smoke. When the driver opens the truck, I know that Stella is right. A baby elephant is inside. I see her trunk poking out from the blackness. Oh my goodness. Look at the picture if you have the book. I'm glad for Stella, but when I glance at her, I see she is not glad at all. Stand back, everyone, Mac yells. We've got a new arrival. This is Ruby, folks. Oh, I love that name. I just love that name. I've always wanted to name my future dog Ruby. 600 pounds of fun to save our sorry butts. That little nugget, sorry we'd call it that. You guys know that's what I call little children sometimes. That little baby is 600 pounds. Oh my gosh. This gal is going to sell us some tickets. Mac and two men climb into the black cave of the truck. We hear noise, scuffling, a word Mac uses when he's angry. Ruby makes a noise too, like one of the little trumpets they sell at the gift store. Move, Mac says, but still there is no Ruby. Move, he says again. We haven't got all day. Inside her domain, Stella paces as much as she's able. 2 steps one way, 2 steps the other. She slaps her trunk against rusty metal bars. She grumbles. How do you think Stella's feeling? What do you think Stella's biggest worry is? That's what I'm kind of thinking about right now. Stella, I ask, did you hear the baby? Stella mutters something under her breath, and word she uses when she's angry. Relax, Stella, I say. It will be okay. Ivan, Stella says, it will never, ever be okay, and I know enough to stop talking. Next chapter, Stella helps. The men are still yelling. Some of the yelling is at each other, but most of it is at Ruby. We hear scrambling, pounding, shifting. The side of the truck shudders. I'm starting to like this elephant, Bob whispers. I'm getting the big one, Mac says. Maybe she can coax the stupid brat out of the truck. Mac opens Stella's door. Come on, girl, he urges. He unties the rope attached to the floor bolt. Stella pushes past Mac, nearly knocking him over. She rushes as best she can, limping heavily toward the open back door of the truck. She catches her swollen foot on the edge of the ramp and winces. Blood trickles down. Oh, poor Stella. Halfway up the ramp, she pauses. The noise in the truck stops. Ruby falls silent. Slowly, Stella makes her way up the rest of the ramp. It groans under her weight, and I can tell how much she is hurting by the awkward way she moves. At the top of the incline, she stops. She pokes her trunk into the emptiness. We wait. The tiny gray trunk appears again. Shyly, it reaches out. Tasting the air, Stella curls her own trunk around the baby's. They make soft, rumbling sounds. We wait some more. A hush falls over the entire Big Top Mall. Thud, thud, step, step, pause, step, step, pause. And there she is, so small she can fit underneath Stella with room to spare. Her skin sags and she sways unsteadily as she makes her way down the ramp. Not the greatest specimen, Max says, but I got her cheap from this bankrupt circus out west. They had her shipped over from Africa, only had her a month before they went bust. He gestures towards Ruby. People love babies. Baby elephants, baby gorillas. Heck, give me a baby alligator and I could make a killing. Stella ushers Ruby toward her domain. Mac and the two men follow. At Stella's door, Ruby hesitates. Mac gives Ruby a shove, but she doesn't budge. Doggone it, get a clue, Ruby, he mutters, but Ruby isn't moving, and neither is Stella. Mac grabs a broom. He raises it. Instantly, Stella steps in front of Ruby to shield her. Get in the cage, both of you, Mac shouts. Stella stares at Mac, considering, gently but firmly. Using her trunk, she nudges Ruby into her domain. Only then does Stella enter. Mac slams the door shut with a clang. I see two trunks entwined, so remember they're twisted together. I hear Stella whispering. Poor kid, says Bob. Welcome to the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan. Can you imagine? So think about this. We've learned a lot about our little friend Ruby. Ruby was taken from her family in Africa and sold to a circus. And now she's being sold to a different circus. But she's alone and she's a baby. She's not with her mom or her dad. Can you imagine being taken? That makes me really sad. You know, it just makes me feel really lucky that obviously didn't happen to me. I'm obviously not an elephant, but if I was, I would still be sad. Next chapter, old news. When Julia comes, she sits by Stella's domain and watches the new baby. She barely talks to me. Stella doesn't talk to me either. She is too busy nuzzling Ruby. She is cute, little Ruby, with her ears flapping like palm leaves. But I am handsome and strong. Bob trots a circle around my belly before settling down in just the right spot. Give it up, Ivan, he says. You're old news. Julia gets out a piece of paper and a pencil. I can see that she is drawing Ruby. I move to the corner of my domain to pout. Bob grumbles. He doesn't like it when I disrupt his naps. Homework, Julia's father scolds. Julia sighs and puts her drawing aside. I grunt, and Julia glances in my direction. Poor old Ivan, she says. I've been ignoring you, haven't I? I grunt again. A dignified, indifferent grunt. Very uninterested, right? Julia thinks for a moment, then smiles. She walks over to my domain, to the spot in the corner where the glass is broken. She slides papers through. She rolls a pencil across my cement floor. You can draw the baby elephant too, Julia says. I bite the pencil in half with my magnificent teeth. Then I eat some paper. Next chapter is tricks. Even after Julia and her father leave, I try to keep sulking, but it's no use. Gorillas are not by nature pouters. Stella, I call. It's a full moon. Did you see? Sometimes when we are lucky, we catch a glimpse of the moon through the skylight in the food court. I did, Stella says. She is whispering, and I realize that Ruby must be asleep. Is Ruby all right, I ask. She's too thin, Ivan, Stella says. Poor baby. She was in that truck for days. Mac bought her from a circus the same way he bought me, but she hadn't been there long. She was born in the wild, like us. Will she be okay, I ask. Stella doesn't answer my question. The circus trainers chained her to the floor, Ivan, all 4 feet, 23 hours a day. I puzzle over why this would be a good idea. I always try to give humans the benefit of the doubt. Why would they do that, I finally ask. To break her spirit, Stella says, so she could learn to balance on a pedestal, so she could stand on her hind legs, so a dog could jump on her back while she walked in mindless circles. I hear her tired voice and think of all the tricks Stella has learned. So sad. Next chapter, introductions. When I awake the next morning, I see a little trunk poking out between the bars of Stella's domain. Hello, says a small, clear voice. I'm Ruby. She waves her trunk. Hello, I say. I'm Ivan. Are you a monkey, Ruby asks. Certainly not. Bob's ears perk up, although his eyes stay closed. He's a gorilla, he says, and I am a dog of uncertain heritage. Why did the dog climb on your tummy, Ruby asks. Because it's there, Bob murmurs. Is Stella awake, I ask. Aunt Stella's asleep, Ruby says. Her foot is hurting, I think. Ruby turns her head. Her eyes are like Stella's, black and long-lashed, bottomless flakes fringed by tall grass. When is breakfast, she asks. Soon, I say, when the mall opens and the workers come. Where? Ruby twists her head in the other direction. Where are the other elephants? It's just you and Stella, I say, and for some reason I feel we have let her down. Are there more of you? Not, I say, at the moment. Ruby picks up a piece of hay and considers it. Do you have a mom and a dad? Well, I used to. Everyone is parents, Bob explains. It's unavoidable. Before the circus, I used to live with my mom and dad. I used to live with my mom and my aunts and my sisters and my cousins, Ruby says. She drops the hay, picks it up, and twirls it. They're dead. I don't know what to say. I am not really enjoying this conversation, but I can see that Ruby isn't done talking. To be polite, I say, I'm sorry to hear that, Ruby. Humans killed them, she says. Who else? Bob asks, and we all fall silent. Stella and Ruby. All morning, Stella strokes Ruby, pats her, smells her. They flap their ears. They rumble and roar. They sway as if they're dancing. Ruby clings to Stella's tail. She slides under Stella's belly. Sometimes they just lean into each other, their trunks twirled together like jungle vines. Stella looks so happy. It's more fun to watch than any nature show I have ever seen on TV. Look at that picture of them, too. That is just so sweet. Next chapter. I'm going to read this last one, and then you guys are going to continue on your own, okay? Home of the one and only Ivan. George and Mac are out by the highway. I can see them through one of my windows. They are next to each other on the tall wooden ladders leaning against the billboard that tells the cars to stop and visit the one and only mighty Silverback. George has a bucket and a long-handled broom. Mac has pieces of paper. He slaps one against the billboard. George dips the broom into the bucket. He wets the paper with the liquid from the bucket, and somehow the paper stays in place. They put up many pieces before they are done. When they climb down from the ladders, I see that they've added a picture of a little elephant to the billboard. The elephant has a lopsided smile. She is wearing a red hat, and her tail curls like a pig's. She doesn't look like Ruby. She doesn't even look like an elephant. I've only known Ruby one day, and I could have drawn her better. Okay, so you are in charge of reading from page 85 to page 90. So you're going to stop at chapter Treat. Okay, what a lovely couple chapters we read today. It was so cute to see how Stella took over as Ruby's, almost like Ruby's mom. She's so lucky to have her. You guys did great today. I'm so impressed. I'll see you at Book Talk tomorrow. Make sure you get your note sheets done and turn in those flip grids to the Wednesday tab. Love you guys. Talk to you later.